Sage Wanderer here, and welcome to Coffee Talk! Today we're going to talk about drones. Don't. So, the wildfires happened in California. Everybody's attention went there. Everybody's attention went to politics. And we just stopped talking about the drones. That's because they went away, huh? They stopped having drone sightings, right? Right? No, they are still there. The drones still fly every night. These drones have spread across the country, so they're flying everywhere now. Everybody's seeing them. All the governors want answers. Lawmakers still want answers. And even though the press quit talking about it, even though YouTube has moved on to the next big thing, the fact of the matter is the drone situation is still active. Now, Donald Trump has promised us that when he gets inaugurated next week, that he will reveal to us what's really going on with the drones. And I don't know. Do you believe that? Do you believe they'll tell him? I mean, he has a genuine rebellion going on within the deep state. All the intelligence communities and Department of Justice is all in rebellion against Donald Trump. So you think whatever he asks them to do, they're going to be like, nah, or they're going to blow some smoke up his skirt and give him some part of the truth. I hope that's not the case. I hope he is going to give us the unadulterated and truth and nothing but the truth, the whole truth and nothing but the truth. But I ain't holding my breath. But that still leaves us guessing till the inaugural day. So, with so many different theories out there, and I've covered several of them on this channel, back when we were all obsessed with drones, we're going to talk about the different theories now and just kind of put them all up and see which ones make sense, see which ones seem crazy as all get out. And you can tell me what you think in the comment section is really going on. Which one of these theories do you find most believable? Which one is the one that you got to have so much coffee to swallow it? They don't make enough coffee. You'd have to have Juan Valdez himself come down and make your coffee before you'd swallow it. And others you can believe just because they're believable. So get ready to pass judgment on drone theory and tell me what you think about the drones. So, I think the one that most people believe, and I think this is the one that generally right-wingers have just signed off on with, because of a lack of any real information. And we've had one lawmaker come out and he said this is either United States and what he called Skunk Works. What is Skunk Works? Skunk Works is a code name for highly classified technological advances and experimentation by the U.S. government. So he's claiming that these drone vehicles are some top secret vehicles and that we were out testing them for whatever reason, and they just can't tell us about it because if they did, it would tip off our enemies that we have them. Yet we let them take pictures of them. We fly them over areas where they're easily seen. Just tell us. If you're going to fly it over my dang house, just show me a picture of it and tell me what it is I'm looking at. Right? Give me the scoop on the technology and where it came from. Otherwise, we're going to think the worst. Right? Others in the Trump camp on the right wing have kind of bought into the idea that those are nuclear sniffers and that there was some kind of nuclear threat in the New Jersey, New York area, and that these machines were designed to go out, these drones were designed to go out and somehow smell or sniff or detect. I think it's just colloquialism for sensing or detecting nuclear threats. And they were able to pick up on the radioactive signature. And this is why they were all over the skies in New Jersey in December and January of this year, starting really back at the end of November. But I have some problems with that theory because anybody knows that when you search for something, you start with a grid. So if they were really searching for some kind of nuclear material. They would be flying these sensors in an overlapping grid, like how you mow your lawn, so you don't have no stalks of grass sticking up here and there and little clumps you missed. And when you're done, you have this graphic grid of marks on your lawn. If you've ever been involved in a wilderness search for a missing person, they search in the same grid pattern. Search aircraft who are looking for survivors of a calamity or people that are missing in the woods. They fly these very defined grids. So I kind of got a problem with the whole nuclear sniffer ideology, even though that's what people just decided it was. That's why we're not talking about it anymore. So we went from what most people believe to the other side now, because the same congressman who said that these might be U.S. skunk works being tested in New Jersey, the same individual said, or it's extraterrestrials. Don't. Drone, ruh-roh. Aliens. Now, having said that, we've had numerous whistleblowers come out and talk about the existence of extraterrestrial crafts manned by extraterrestrial pilots not from Earth, aliens, and the crashing occasionally of these aircraft and the recovery of the aircraft, the technology, and living and or deceased alien pilots. Don't. This is everywhere. It's been something that people have been talking about for the last 3 or 4 years, that the government wants to, that people within the government want to come clean and admit that there's something out there that we don't know what it is, that it's not terrestrial based, it's not human technology, it's not our enemies, it's something or someone visiting this planet from far away. And there's been all kinds of, I mean, you could start numerous YouTube channels, and there are numerous YouTube channels dedicated to the idea of disclosure, interaction of our knowing and willing government that has been interacting with them, even trading technology potentially for humans to experiment on and other natural resources like water and minerals. Of course, if you watch this channel, you know that I'm a little different than most Christians. Most Christians think that aliens are demons, and I believe that they're correct, except I flip it. Demons are aliens. By nature, demons and angels are not from this earth, so therefore, by definition, they are alien to our planet and not from around here. So, aliens and angels and demons are the same thing. That means they come in on two different sides of love for humanity. Okay, so one side hates us, the other side loves us. Demons hate us, angels love us. God loves us, the devil hates us. We know how that goes as Christians. And therefore, if these are aliens, then one would assume these aliens or angels are either angels or demons, right? They're on one side or the other. But people involved in angelology and demonology suggest that not all angels are holy and not all demons are completely evil, that there is a gray scale, and that yes, there is a line between good and evil, but there are some that are completely pure and some that are kind of selfish in the angel category. There are some in the demon category that hate human beings and some that are more sympathetic. I don't necessarily buy into that ideology. I'm more of a black and white kind of guy when it comes to good and evil. I think angels are holy and demons are evil, and there's not any mixture between the two. And we could be dealing with either demons disguised as angels of light in the form of these alien visitors, or we could be dealing with a mixture of godly intervention and demonic intervention into our world through these alien encounters. They all kind of seem demonic to me. A theory about the drones, a theory about disclosure and what's happening with this heightened conversation about whether aliens are here or not, or rather the disclosure that aliens are in fact visiting us. That within this is this idea that there is a coalition of good guys who are like interplanetary peacemakers and peacekeepers. and it's called the Federation of Planets. Sound familiar? It comes right out of a Gene Roddenberry numerous episodes of Star Trek. Talk about the Federation of Planets. That there really is a federation of good folks, good people, whatever, good aliens who have good intentions for everyone. Kumbaya, love everybody. They're here to protect us and advance us as a human race. And then there are interplanetary pirates who are less organized, who go from planet to planet, raping, robbing, pillaging, using up resources, destroying civilizations, and that the Federation fights against them, and that we have been kept out of this intergalactic war, this universal war between good in the form of the Planetary Federation and evil in the form of these bands of marauding pirates, as it were, space pirates. And we've been kept out of this battle between good and evil, so we can develop and get a little higher than the monkeys and find our own way into evolving into a higher species. Don't believe that one. Don't believe that one. I don't have enough coffee. Juan Vandez. What is his name? I said it a minute ago. Starbucks himself couldn't come down here and get me to swallow enough coffee to believe that. But I do think that some of that is true because I do believe in the battle of good and evil. I do believe in angels and demons. I do believe that angels have both a physical body and a spiritual power. I do believe technology, advanced technology, is used by both the angelic and the demonic. I do believe that there are way more angels and demons than we could ever imagine, and they outnumber us many, many times over. You couldn't contain them all if you brought them here. It would cover the planet like ants on a donut. So, what are some other theories about the drones? Well, one of our congressmen came out and said definitively that these were Iranian drones flown from a mothership off the coast of the U.S. and that they were messing with us as an act of power. They were showing off what they have to and what they can get away with, and that we weren't doing anything about it because we didn't want people to know that Iranians could fly over the United States unmolested, and but that got quickly debunked. The mothership, the drone aircraft carrier, one of two that Iran possesses, was nowhere near the United States. They were both safely docked in ports near Iran in the Middle East. And so the mothership idea kind of got laughed at. And as far as we know, these aren't Iranians. There's never been any more talk about them being Iranians in nature, Iranian in nature. And so the mothership idea is kind of, it seemed plausible. Something like that is likely to happen in the future, right? But this outbreak of drones can't be explained by Iranian involvement as far as we can tell. Now, this leads me to I think, the theory that I believe the most likely to be happening. It's also one of the most frightening things to be happening. But one intrepid researcher went out and mapped all of the drone sightings in the United States. And then he overlaid that map with all of the known holdings of Chinese corporations and Chinese nationals who owned farmland, which Oklahoma outlawed, I believe, recently, the ability for Chinese nationals to own farmland in Oklahoma. So I know a lot of Chinese pot farmers got kicked out of Oklahoma just in the last couple of years, and so, but nationwide, China owns a whole lot of territory that they, in my opinion, should not possess. But they legally purchased it through legal means, and they own this land. And when those holdings, when you take the individuals and corporations who are based in China, Chinese land in America, when you take that map and lay it over the map of the drone sightings, what you end up with is a pretty good indication that wherever there is Chinese land in the United States, there are also Chinese drones. Their drone sightings could very well be Chinese. Now, why would the United States allow that to happen? Well, as we can tell by the red and green blinking lights on the drones, they're not breaking any rules by the FAA unless they fly into, you know, closed or restricted airspace. But as far as just zipping around in drones, any American can do that as long as you meet the criteria of the FAA, the Federal Aviation Administration, who governs our skies in the United States. So this would explain why the drones have the blinking lights. It's their attempt at being legal, and so it really starts to look like what you have is the Chinese government flying reconnaissance drones off of Chinese owned property, legally owned, flying drones that are legally possessed and flying them legally in the US, which means until we change the laws or we do something to restrict the activities of Chinese businesses in the United States and Chinese nationals living here, and without that, they're not breaking any laws. So why wouldn't the US government want us to know this? Why would the government cover it up? Why would they withhold what they really know about this if it is Chinese nationals flying legal drones from their legally owned property? Because they don't want people to freak out. I can see how the Biden administration and the DEI hires and the wokeness and the people who are hypersensitive to race in government might see that the American people may not need to know or shouldn't know that this is occurring because they're afraid of backlash against Asians. They're afraid of Asian hate crime breaking out. If we knew that it was China who was flying these drones all over the United States with, and they were doing it legally from legally owned property, it would cause an uproar or an uprising and cause Asian hate crime because people can't tell the difference. And I will say you have to get to know Asian people and study it before the average person, black or white or Hispanic, can tell the difference between a Korean, a Vietnamese, a Cambodian, or a Chinese or Japanese person. And so they're afraid that anybody who looks Asian might get targeted with some kind of outrage if it were to be public knowledge that the Chinese government, shrouded in legal business and operating from their own private property, were flying these drones and disturbing the peace and freaking people out. And so that would explain why the government would cover it up. It kind of explains who could be doing it. It explains the advanced nature of them. So I find that to be one of the most believable ones. And that's kind of where I put my vote, is they're Chinese nationals living in America, doing this legally, but also doing it to intimidate, doing it to collect surveillance, doing it to show us they can. Okay? Now, let's go to the more unbelievable one. And this is kind of from the ramblings of the guy who blew up the Cybertruck in Las Vegas, that he produced a manifesto that some people are saying is credible. Some people are corroborating some of the things he said. And in that, he said that the drones are part of the United States, and even Russia and China have these. I haven't looked too deeply into this. You can fill us in the comments if you want. But the general premise is it's anti-gravity technology. But everything I've seen from the footage I've noticed of drones, they seem to be your standard kind of propeller-driven drone. They do make a sound. People report that sounds like a lawnmower, right? So these are gasoline-powered engines, or it may be even electric drones. But this idea of us possessing anti-gravity technology that we backward engineered from aliens, and that we have it, and China's got it, and Russia's got it. One of the biggest arguments against that, if the Russians had it, wouldn't they have used it in Ukraine, right? If they had this kind of advanced technology, this anti-gravity technology, wouldn't the Russians have used it in Ukraine? If if the Chinese have anti-gravity, don't you think that they would use it to take Taiwan? Like, they would flex their muscle. So I'm not sure if I believe the anti-gravity nature of these drones. I don't see them doing a lot of things in the footage that seem unusual. Some people are reporting them changing directions in a way that's unnatural or unlikely. But you'd be surprised how agile and how quickly an unmanned propeller-driven quad drone can behave. And the size of these things are what's disturbing most people. Some say they're as big as school buses, some say they're the size of SUVs or at least small compact cars, which means they may not be drones at all, but they may be personal aircraft. And they may have a pilot on board there. And because of their larger size, it's disturbing because they could carry a payload. If it is any of our enemies, they could have not just surveillance equipment, but they could have ordnance, explosives on board. And so we do not know the nature of these things. It's what everyone's afraid of. It's what everyone is playing on everyone's worst fears. So what do you think it is? Is it alien technology? Is it technology that we have and everybody's pretty much aware of that's being operated at a higher level? Is it the Chinese? Is it the Iranian mothership? Is it the aliens? Is it angels? Is it demons? Is it Santa Claus? Tell me what you think in the comment section. And the big question is, Donald Trump going to tell us the truth? Is he going to get the truth from the people that hold the truth? Are they going to give it up to him, even though they're required to? That doesn't mean they're going to do it. And getting information out of somebody without waterboarding them is not an easy task. All right, you got to have something on them. You got to have some way to extract the information if they don't want to give it to you. So I doubt whether Donald Trump himself could even find out what these drones really are. But you tell me what you think they are. If I missed a theory, you drop another theory in the box down there. And I think I covered most of them, and I hope you enjoyed this coffee talk. Don't forget to support the channel. Without your donations to this channel, it will cease to exist. You keep the lights on in my cabin. You keep me able and capable of making these videos. You guys buy the coffee. So please make a donation in the description below. You'll find links to PayPal and Cash App, and we'll see you next time on Coffee Talk.